believe we are indeed live. I have to connect my glasses on so I can look a little more professional. Welcome back to another. Welcome back to another game week review. So, a quick some housekeeping to begin with, as always. I am your host Abin. I'm joined by Akshay and Tushar, who is
What's up,
currently in
guys?
the middle of. So, hi Akshay, how's it going?
All good, all good. Yeah,
You were
Tushar is,
interrupted
I
by.
think,
He's having a bit of a late dinner. It's a late one for us. It's what just past 10 o'clock here in India. So Akshay and I did a preview for the Game Week 7. A bit of housekeeping to begin with. We did a preview for Game Week 7. It's on the
yeah,
channel
this is a
if you
quick
haven't
one,
checked
right?
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might just but we didn't put it on Spotify because no sooner had we finished recording the preview, Akshay went to bed and then the Queen ended up passing away, and then all the fixtures ended up getting cancelled. We didn't end up doing a preview for Game Week 8 because right until the end we weren't sure if the fixtures would go through. I think it was confirmed midweek, but then getting everyone's schedules together took some time. So we just let the 7 games that happened play out. Didn't really miss anything big. Fairly standard results for most teams involved. United and Chelsea and Liverpool didn't play, but since we spoke, I think we addressed the Tuchel sacking the last time we were on a pod. Graham Potter ended up taking.
But I think Tushar missed out on that.
Yeah, no, Tushar's been like he's
Yeah, we didn't get to hear his view being a Chelsea fan on the whole Tuchel incident.
You want my view now?
I think his view is slightly more fixated. I mean, we'll get back to it a bit later. Like, let him. So, but in terms of, now we know about the Tuchel situation. I think it's a bit past right now. The fact that he's been gone 2 weeks, if not longer, and now Graham Potter is very much in the job. Whether he will succeed depends entirely on how patient the club and the fan base is going to be with them. I think they recently signed the Red Bull technical director as a director of football. So, So sorry for the random beeping. My PlayStation just decided to turn on. But
wow.
It's like a mind possessed sometimes.
Magic.
I mean, it just keeps. I no idea what's happening. Anyway, coming back to Graham Potter, I think we saw him play one game against Dynamo Zagreb, where there wasn't a lot happening. I felt like he had a couple of training sessions with the team. Too early for him to implement his ideas. More or less the same setup. They ended up. They ended up drawing that game. Cosmo is in the chat as per usual, and he says Tuchel is really close to joining Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich also have had a bit of a bumpy start to the season. I think for the first time ever, first time in a very long time.
84 years. 84 years. 84 years. They've lost 4 games in a row.
Oh, they've lost 4 games in a row. Okay, I'm clearly not up to
not won 4 games. Not one of them.
They've not won. I think they drew.
They drew or something.
Yeah.
So
previous week was the first game week where they've in 87 games that they've not been able to score a goal.
That's kind of nuts, right? I think
who did they play? 87 games. That's about I think 4 seasons back, if I'm not wrong. 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's been 3 or 4 seasons ago, easy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, will Nagelsmann end up getting the sack? I don't think it's a Nagelsmann problem as much as it's a number 9 problem. And
a specific number 9, yeah.
Yeah, very specific number 9, given that Lewandowski has departed to the warmer climates of Barcelona.
That's literally the same problem we had. Like, even if you watch the Chelsea game, we're actually playing decent creative football for once.
Mm-hmm.
And we just couldn't score, dude. Ziyech couldn't score. Oba couldn't score. No one could score. And that problem continues. The problem has been there since Diego Costa left 2016, and we still haven't solved that problem. So that's the basis of it. And I think now Bayern Munich are going to face the same problem because their goal-scoring machine has left. but they also always pull it back. Like till December, they're like dilly dally, and they're like, okay, guys, let's get serious, and then they'll just dominate till the end.
I think Bayern have already begun their search for their striker. I mean, if you believe reports coming in from the German media, they're very fixated on one specific player, and they're reaching out to his brother, who is his agent, and he got hilariously trolled last season for the sheer stupidity of the contract that he got his brother. And so they'll be keeping a very clean, a very clean. There'll be a keen eye on whatever's happening at Spurs.
I don't know if
given
Harry Kane has the legs in him.
I think for the Bundesliga, he probably will, because I don't think it's as physically demanding as the Premier League is. Like, look at Lewandowski, not the quickest, but man, when he's in the positions he needs to be in. And can you imagine Kane in that deep playmaker role as a number 10, letting Mane and Sani run after? Oh my God, guys, this has to happen. It just struck me. You'll have a team with Mane, Sane, and Kane. How can this has to
Oh, wow.
happen?
Wow.
Please, for all the footballing gods, whatever there is, purely for the puns. But yeah, you have Mane and Sane running behind
Dude,
Harry
that's
Kane.
insane.
Yeah. It's a really bad joke that I would not crack it. But always good to see. It's always good to see a fresh set of competitors in the Bundesliga. I think currently Dortmund are top of the league. Akshay,
Dortmund top, yeah. Dortmund are
yeah.
top.
So I
I
don't know
thought
how
it was
long that will last.
Union Berlin or something.
Yeah, Union Berlin I think are top. You're right. I don't think.
Oh yeah,
Dortmund
now
are top.
Union Berlin now, yeah.
Yeah,
As of
Union
right
Berlin
now.
are
2 points ahead of Dortmund.
But I watched a
And
bunch of Munich games.
Mhm.
Dude, Mane hasn't had that effect. Like, he's not been bad, but he's not been great or anything. He's not world changing. He's not like he can carry the team kind of guy yet.
I don't think he was brought in to be that guy. I think Cosmo in the chat alludes to Mane being played as a false nine, and that might end up working for Tuchel.
I mean, Tuchel
I
plays
don't-
everybody out of position anyway, so
Yeah, so you don't know.
Yeah.
And the Bayern hierarchy is very similar to like other clubs where he's famously not gotten along with the members of the board. So I don't know how long that marriage will last, but I think if it does last, it'll last for at least 2 to 3 seasons, and that will be enough for Tuchel to really get like trophies with that squad. I think him winning the Champions League with Chelsea was like a big signal to the likes of Bayern, right? Okay, to keep him on watch in case things don't go well with Nagelsmann. But let's get back to the Prem quickly. Cosmo talks about Tuchel versus Oliver Kahn. I think there's only one winner in that scenario. Oliver Kahn, come on, guys. I mean, are we really talking about scrawny Tuchel versus Oliver Kahn? Like the giant that is Oliver Kahn? I don't think that's.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I don't think Tuchel can fight, dude.
Yeah.
He did one handshake with Conte and he got sacked. Like, what?
Yeah.
Lost his job, like, lost his head, everything.
But anyway, as I was saying, coming back to the Premier League, the Premier League fixtures kicked off on Friday. It was an insane game with Fulham taking on Nottingham Forest. That ended 3-2 to Fulham.
Yeah.
Set pieces. Nottingham Forest are so susceptible to set pieces, and it kept happening time and time again. It's kind of nuts that I mean, you look at Nottingham Forest, and there's a blueprint, or rather, there's a pretty like scary example of not to do what they've ended up doing, where they've replaced the entire squad. They bought 23 players, which is what Fulham did 3-4 seasons ago, and it didn't yield them any results. And as a matter of fact, Fulham just didn't manage to get it together, and they ended up going down. So, absolutely, a very, very interesting decision by the Forest board, and it's not been working for them. And I don't know how much longer they're going to have before they realize they're in a real relegation scrap. I don't think they've won a game in the last 5 or 6.
They just bought a whole squad, dude, and
Yeah,
you would
they revamped quite a bit, but
integrating that whole squad is going to take time. Like none of the players know how to play with each other or what position or what. Like you have to teach them tactics. You have to teach them to move together, like where each guy will be. So it'll take a few weeks. The only problem is I don't know if a team like Forest has a few weeks because they'll be in the relegation battle and yeah, they're not
I
out of
think
the
they've
group.
already.
I think what what will have be going for them is the fact that I'm not quite sure how many internationals are in that squad, and with the World Cup coming in just under 2 months, I firmly believe that they'll have that time to get something going in on the training ground. So by the time they do end up coming back, it'll be quite. I mean, by everyone comes back, they might be a little more cohesive than what they currently are. So definitely will be very interesting to see what kind of Forest we ends up playing in the Premier League come January, February, because if they haven't gotten it together by then they are most certainly not going to get it together by the end of the season. They might be going straight down, and it'll be a fire sale for Forest players.
Yeah, I don't see them. They play good football, but they're not cohesive as a unit. That's the like that'll take time for sure.
For sure, like I completely like
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen anytime soon, but I think that World Cup break might just help them. And then Villa also ended up playing the same night. I'd like to say against Palace. Were they against Palace or were
Yeah,
they?
I'm just rechecking.
Yeah, I just need to make sure
I've
because
been out of football this weekend.
no, I know Jacob Ramsey scored the goal because I was watching highlights. But like, oh my
They
god,
played
it's
Southampton.
Southampton. Sorry, yes, I know. I
We were
always
supposed
confuse
to
the
play
two.
Palace, weren't we?
No, we were supposed to play Leeds this week. Palace was the week before that.
Oh,
So,
never mind. Yeah.
so I don't think Palace played their game either, right? Palace's
Yeah,
game
they
got
didn't
called
play.
off.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Aston Villa finally got their second win of the season after an impressive 1-1 draw against Man City the last time the games were played. Speaking of Man City, it didn't take them very long to open the scoring at Wolves. Within 50 seconds, Kevin De Bruyne, that man is a cheat code. I think it should be illegal to have Kevin De Bruyne and Erling Haaland in the same team. It's it's a bit bizarre just how good and how insane that team looks. Jack Grealish,
Yeah, it
however,
was
scores the first
just
goal.
too good. Just too good.
Yeah, taps it in, and then for the second, Erling Haaland bullies the defender, and he's been bullying defenders all through that game, and then kind of scuffs his shot, but anything he touches at this point turns to goals. So in it
Yeah.
goes to the back of the net, and then our man, is it Collins, who decides to like kung fu kick Jack Grealish in the chest,
Yeah.
as red a card as you'll possibly ever see, right? I
Yeah.
had no idea what that was all about. And Wolves, when they came out in the second half, they looked quite good. There was what is that? There was a period where they were very very in control of the game, and then City just hit them on one counter. Phil Foden like just trickles the ball past Jose Sa into the back of the net. Game over, and then from there City just controlled the game and went home with the 3 points. Spurs, I think, was the most fun game to watch on Saturday
Yeah.
because that game
I mean,
was like
was very excited for that game, wasn't he?
I was very excited. I mean, I'm not complaining about my FPL fixtures this game week. I have ended up with what 60 odd points with no wild card
Crazy.
played and a full playing 11. So it's not the worst, but I would like to express my frustrations at the fact that Son, who I've owned for like 5 of the 8 game weeks, decided to score a hat trick in 17 minutes after having returned absolutely nothing
Nothing.
for those game weeks that I owned him. Very very frustrating. But
Yeah.
Cosmo in the chat is like alluding to a Haaland point. He says what is a Haaland? It's criminal to have that pace, finishing, and physicality in one person. his goal in the UCL was what was amazing. Oh yeah, we need to talk about that. I feel like we haven't really spoken about the UCL fixtures. Dortmund were very good against Man City, and they hadn't let them have any shots on target. In comes John Stones, who absolutely thunder twats one into the back of the net, and then you have this insane combination of play where Cancelo, with the outside of his foot, curls a ball into the box. And Haaland, almost Zlatan-esque. I feel like he's like Zlatan with more pace, is what I would describe Erling Haaland, because he
Yeah,
has the
that's actually
build, he
true.
has yeah, very Zlatan-esque finish. I've only seen Zlatan attempt to do something like that in the past, and not very successfully on most occasions. But this dude, he just gets a touch to the ball and bam, back of the net, game has swung, and then City just control things.
You know what's funny about Haaland is like before the season started, this Gary Neville podcast, he's discussing with a bunch of guys like, I don't know, like if Haaland will take to the Premier League. It's such a physical league. And you're like, he's probably the most physical player in the world. Okay. He's like a Norse god built and he runs at the speed of light. And you think he won't take to the physicality of the Premier League. It just didn't make any sense. But there were so many people who doubted him at that time and he shut everyone up. And what's even more hilarious is his media stuff where they were like, you only had 5 touches in the game, and he's like, my dream is to score 5 goals with 5 touches in the next game.
It's very much possible.
Piss with the media. Yeah, he is.
Oh, he's hilarious. I feel like he's an enigma. Like, even if you follow him on social media, the man is very much in control of his socials. He's not like media trained. He's just he's a 22-year-old just living the dream, dude. He has a 150 million clause apparently that activates in 2 years. And I think the only way to stop him right now, from what I'm seeing, I feel people will come up with a plan because the Premier League is as such that there will be a way to negate what he's doing so successfully now in a few months or probably by next season. But the only way to truly negate him at this point is for Madrid to come in and get him. And I think after having that that issue with Mbappe, they might just focus all their efforts on getting Haaland because they want him in their squad. But you never know, because Perez is a madman. I think there's a certified.
City is not gonna give him up so easily, for sure.
I don't think. Actually, both of them have a clause. Mbappe has an 18-month clause where he can start talking to this thing. So by next summer, he can already start talking to Madrid again. And so can Haaland. So after the 23-24 season, they can both start negotiating.
I think the only thing with regards to Mbappe, there is no other reason I mean, obviously he was paid an insane amount of money, but for PSG to really hold on to him, I think they only did it because of the World Cup, because they wanted the three figures of Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe as the poster boys for the World Cup, right? To show that Qatar is capable.
But funnily enough, they actually offered Chelsea Neymar, and Tuchel said no because he had a bad time with Neymar in the dressing room when he was there.
Yeah.
But Neymar has been killing it, dude, this season.
He's killing it this season.
He's absolutely tearing
birthday, he's gonna take a 1-month leave.
It's not his birthday, my friend. It's his sister's birthday where he takes the leave.
Oh, never mind.
Very, very, very strange situation there. But anyway, oh God, that threw me off. I'm sorry. Coming back to Haaland. So I don't know how the leagues will stop him. Everyone is going to go for the World Cup. My dude is going to be chilling in Manchester.
But we'll see how the next game week pans out.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about that. That we'll talk about the preview on game week 9 when that comes. There won't be an episode. This is the only episode this week. If there is clamor for another episode where we talk like the best Premier League team of all time or the best Champions League fixtures, that's something we could run with. So if you're listening, just let us know on our socials and we'll put together an episode. Uh, but I'd also like to talk about Spurs. I think we were talking about Spurs before we got distracted.
Yep.
Um, Spurs uh, Spurs look terrible. They still haven't clicked. I was watching Expressions watch the game, and he keeps calling it fossil football because it's sit back and hit them on the counter, sit back and hit them on the counter. And I don't think the sitting back aspect is working very well because they did lose to Sporting Lisbon or Sporting Club Lisbon, Sporting Club de Lisbon. Apparently, if you call them Sporting Lisbon, they get cursed or something. So I'm very wary
Really?
of my curses.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I recently figured this out. So let's just
wow.
refer to them as Sporting.
Let's
So
put SCP.
SCP. Okay.
SC.
So
Yeah. No.
So I mean, yeah,
Right.
there was the second goal that Sporting scored against Spurs was a thing of beauty. There were two nutmegs. There was one nutmeg on Emerson, and there was one nutmeg through Hugo Lloris's legs, right? And Emerson ended up getting dropped. Ivan Perisic played right back for most of this game. Ryan Sessegnon was left back. It didn't work. He brought on
Yeah,
Emerson
didn't
Royal in
work
the
out.
second.
Yeah.
He brought on Emerson Royal in the second half. And then he ended up bringing on Son, who was very pissed that he'd been dropped. And
And
Son, yeah,
that,
he just ran riot.
yeah. Do you think this is him back in the squad now, or
If
like
you
starting
ask
that?
me, I think he will be in the starting 11 for the North London derby, and that's going to be a very tasty fixture because whoever wins
Yeah.
that game goes on
That's,
top.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think Spurs and Man City are still the only unbeaten teams in the league at this point. So
Person City. That's right.
yeah, so if Spurs win, Spurs are on 17 points and Arsenal are on 18 points. So
Yep.
and it's an early kickoff. I don't know if it will still happen because I've heard that there's going to be a train strike on that day, so the game may be postponed.
Really?
I don't know if the fixtures may end up going through a tube strike, if I'm being
So
more
all of
accurate.
them, or all of them, or just a few
I think the London games specifically.
kind of games? Okay.
Yeah. Because there's a strike that was planned, but I'm not sure if the strike is going to happen given all of that has happened over the last couple of weeks. That the Queen has
Yeah.
passed. Her funeral is today at maybe happening right now as we
It's
speak.
going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what ramifications or what ripples that event is going to have on that strike. But Spurs, man, Son ended up really saving their bacon in that second half, and they were in the lead. Wilfred Ndidi, Leicester. Can we talk about Leicester for a quick minute?
Yeah. Cosmos
Yeah,
also
yeah.
mentioned.
Cosmo in the chat mentions that Leicester want to go to the championship and win it. Leicester look like they're bound for the championship. I've never seen a team look so different. Brendan Rodgers is close to the sack if he's not going to
Of
get
course.
sacked soon enough
I think another.
because
I give him another few weeks. I think. I think
I
till game week
think
11, 10 or 11, and
I
he's done.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone still. I really surprised he hasn't gone because to still be in the position that they are and for them to have not taken any quantifiable action, I don't understand what the play is at Leicester because they haven't really bought players to supplement the squad. The squad is aging. A lot of the players that were world class potential players are starting to look very ordinary. Madison seems to be shining as this jewel in the crown. That second goal Leicester scored on the weekend was absolutely fabulous for Madison. What a
Yeah.
finish. But barring him, everyone in that team, especially that goalkeeper, Danny Ward, my God, Danny Ward is
Oh
being
my gosh.
exposed. Yeah, is being
Too
exposed
too much.
terribly. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I need to first hold my hands up and say he is maybe 100 times of a better keeper than I will ever be. I'm obviously not comparing him to myself, but in
Yeah,
the
you can't
Premier League,
compare. Yeah.
yeah, obviously not, right? But in
Yeah.
the Premier League, my man is being exposed in ways that he could never possibly imagined.
Yeah,
Ah,
he's not even like, I don't think he was even the second behind Schmeichel when Schmeichel was
who
there,
was
right?
who was the yeah? There was another guy there before. I forget who that was.
Yes,
I
I
think
don't
he's also
know
left.
like from where he's come and uh, trying to do what he's doing.
I don't know about Danny Ward, dude. I don't know what Leicester's play is there. Maybe there's something that could happen. Cosmo also adds that Maguire should have gone to Leicester. He would have really fitted into it like 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 a glove. Uh, I mean, we'll talk about Harry Maggs. He didn't start the game on Thursday against Sheriff, and
And
United kept a clean sheet. It was extremely straightforward, controlled the game. There were people watching that game from their apartments in Moldova.
oh yeah,
Ronaldo stat patted a goal. Sancho scored another, took his tally to 3 for the season. United look like they're going somewhere. I don't know where they're going, but they'll probably end up
they're
going
going
someplace.
somewhere.
Yeah, so will be interesting to see how they shape up for the Manchester derby, which is the day after the North London derby. So two
Yeah,
very
that'll be an
interesting fixtures
exciting
too.
game to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really looking forward to that weekend of fixtures. It just sucks that the international break is now, and then we have to.
Yeah, it should have been.
Uh, yeah, it really is. Like I haven't seen United play a Premier League game. I think we would not have seen them play a Premier League game for close to a month by the time the Manchester derby rolls in.
Yeah,
Speaking of derbies, Arsenal went to Brentford and absolutely cleaned up um, at Brentford. Three goals with no response.
yeah, no
They
response.
were, yeah. I was listening to the AFTV podcast today when I was on my run, and a lot of them spoke about. I was actually watching the game. I was at like this place for a drink, and then they were playing the game there, and a lot of my thoughts were echoed on this podcast where they spoke about how not for 1 minute after they went ahead did they feel like they were going to lose or draw that game, and that's just how confident that they are at the moment. Yes, they have ended up losing to United, where they were punished for dilly-dallying on the ball,
Yeah,
and just being extremely stupid in their decision making. But I think at Brentford they were solid. They didn't let Brentford have a sniff in the game. Took their goals. They're very dangerous from set pieces, while Spurs are notoriously bad from set pieces. So something to keep an eye out for in the North London derby. And just comfortably ran out winners in that game, top of the table, going into the international break. The mood around Arsenal is very, very um, positive at the moment. And this is a question I want to ask you guys. Do you think that they're legitimate title contenders? Like, do you see them? I don't think they're going to win the title. That's my opinion. Is I don't think they're going to win the title. But do you see them like running City close during
I
during
don't
the
think
season?
so.
I'm not too sure.
I
It
don't
seems
think
like
Why?
so.
just a glory. I think it just seems like a glory period that they're going through right now. Even though they're looking strong, but I don't think they have that squad rotation and depth in them to take them through all the way.
They don't look unbeatable or infallible or something. They're playing well together. They're linking up
Yeah,
together, all that. But I don't think they can challenge. I don't think anyone right now can challenge City. Actually, it's pretty much like hopeless. If you go for the title, it's pretty much hopeless to City right now, in my opinion, at least.
I think currently Spurs can give them a good challenge for the title.
No, like what I saw in the UCL is like, dude, the Spurs will also go through a bad patch. I don't think they can challenge City. I don't think anyone can really, at the moment, challenge City this season. Maybe in the
Yeah,
cup. That's it.
I don't know. I don't know if Arsenal may end up challenging for the title, but they're definite. Like I think they're very, very what do you call strong top four contenders. I think they're
yeah,
definitely
definitely.
one of the top four. And I'll say why I don't think they'll challenge for the title. I think that playing 11 is playing fantastic football. I think um, they're a great unit that's really come together. But the problem is that they have to keep that playing 11 fit. Even though
Yeah,
like Fabio Vieira came on for Odegaard, Odegaard was injured sometime between the Europa League fixture and this game. But they didn't play this week, right? I think the PSV game got cancelled. My
yeah, their
weeks
game
are
got
getting. Yes, the
postponed.
PSV game got postponed. So I think something happened with Odegaard. He wasn't fit. Fabio Vieira came in, absolute screamer of a goal. So there's strength in depth for certain positions, not all positions. For certain positions, there's definitely
Mhm.
strength in depth. The main problem is the Gabriel Jesus situation, by which I mean Gabriel Jesus is excellent. I think he's probably the best buy of the season so far. Actually, no.
Yep.
What am I saying? Erling Haaland exists, but if there is a close
Barring him, he
competitive,
doesn't count.
yeah, Haaland is in a category of his own. But
Yeah.
if you were to really take all the other transfers that have happened this season, I think Gabriel Jesus has really added a new dimension to Arsenal. He
Yep.
hassles and harries defenders, and he's never like quiet, never still. Always, the only way you get at him is you kick the life out of him, which is what Varane and Martinez did to him a couple of weeks ago. And if you don't do that, you don't end up stopping him. His goal, which is a wonderfully taken goal, and I think it also helps that Granit Xhaka is in probably the best form of his life and has had the best equation with the Arsenal fans for some time.
Yep.
He looks good, but the Jesus conundrum, particularly here, is that if he stays fit, then I see them like going on to do really good things. Maybe go on a cup run. I think a cup is definitely possible with the squad. But if he gets injured, that means Eddie Nketiah is your number 9 for the rest of for the rest of the period that he's out. And I wouldn't call Eddie Nketiah like for like replacement for Gabriel Jesus. Yes, Eddie
Yeah, no.
Nketiah hasn't played as much, and you don't know what kind of player he'll turn out to be in that period. But that being said, I don't think anyone replaces Gabriel Jesus, and that is the only reason I see them faltering. I think if Kane gets injured, you'll have a front three of Son, Kulusevski, and Richarlison. So you can supplement that position. I say even if Haaland gets injured, City have an entire system based on a
They have,
false nine.
yeah, City is quite sorted.
Even United, who look uh, like a little all over the place sometimes up front, if they get
Yeah.
injured, then like I said, if Ronaldo gets injured, you have, I think, Martial, Sancho, and Rashford will come
We'll
in,
take it up,
and
yeah.
believe me when I say this, the number 11 will be back at some point for United
Really?
because there have
I
been
haven't kept up the
he's
news.
yeah he's been included in the under 21 squad. He like that
Wow.
case has gone real. I don't want it's a criminal case. I don't really want to say much on it,
Yeah.
but I
But you've heard that
I
it's
don't
back.
want him. Yeah, I don't want him back, but I feel United are
Need him.
will do everything. Not need him. Need United have he's £100 million asset to them.
Yeah.
His price may have taken a bit of a tumble, but I fully believe that given how things have unfolded over
Yeah.
the last couple of years, especially there's the case at Arsenal where something really bizarre happened, and the man is still playing football in the middle of the pitch. Um, that's just the world we end up
Yeah.
living in. It's quite terrible. Personally, I would not want him back anywhere near the club, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I feel he'll be back too at some point. So there are definitely enough options, but with Arsenal, I'm not quite sure. I think Bukayo Saka is just injured, and he's not injured. He's just, what am I saying? He's played so many games. He's very close to exhaustion.
He's
When he
burnt
comes,
out.
yeah, when he comes back from I don't think he's burnt out, but when he comes back from the World Cup, he's going to be like that. Those legs are going to be even more tired. So you don't know what the playing 11 will be. I think this is a great base for the Arsenal team. They're 3 or 4 positions away from really mounting a serious title charge, which I think will come
Yeah.
if they continue to play the kind of football that they're playing. I think it will come in the near future, but we'll have to wait and see.
But
Now let's.
how many of their players are going to be at the World Cup?
I think Saka goes. I think
Saka for sure, yeah.
I believe Jesus
Jesus.
also ends up going. I don't know if he didn't get picked for this tournament. I don't think for this set of fixtures. I'm not quite sure why he's not going, but I'm pretty damn sure he's going to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Then I at the
Odegaard's not
back
going for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Odegaard is not going because Norway aren't going. Ramsdale
Yeah.
definitely is going.
Yeah, he'll be, but I
Tomiyasu,
don't know if he'll play, but yeah.
I don't know if he'll play, but he'll definitely go.
He'll be in the squad
Tom,
for sure. Yeah.
yeah, Tomiyasu definitely going. Ben White might go. Um, Saliba will
Partey?
definitely go.
Partey?
Of course, he'll go. Ghana, yeah, Ghana made it. Right? Ghana beat Nigeria in the
Ghana made it?
qualifiers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Martinelli?
Shaka definitely. Martinelli will also go. He'll
Will
go
he?
for. I think Brazil. Yeah, they'll take him as a
Yeah.
squad player for sure.
Mm.
Shaka is the Swiss captain. He's got to go.
Yeah,
Who else
Shaka.
are we
Shaka
looking?
has to go.
Yeah, who else are we looking at?
Suarez?
So
Cedric Suarez?
I don't think he goes. I don't think Fabio Vieira goes. I don't think El Neni doesn't go because Egypt aren't
Zinchenko?
going.
Zinchenko, did the
No,
Ukraine make it?
Ukraine didn't make it. They
Did they
lost to
make it?
Wales in the playoffs. So
What about
yeah, so
Scotland?
Scotland are out as well, right? Scotland lost to Ukraine, and then Ukraine lost to
All
Wales.
right. Yeah.
So
Okay.
uh, so yeah, I think a big chunk of that team goes, and I'd be interested to see what really happens to them post the World Cup season.
Yeah,
So we,
because if quite a few of the main players are going, they'll come back quite burnt out after that.
yeah, and
After
I feel
that.
that'd be the case with a lot of players who have World Cup heavy teams. So
Yeah.
or like in internationals, that would be a more easy, straightforward way
This,
of
this
putting it.
lower
Cosmo,
league,
Odegaard, or
lower
Odegaard
table
won't
and
go
mid.
because
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
yeah. No, just replying to Cosmo's question for Odegaard, he won't go because Norway aren't part of this World Cup this year.
Tushar, take it away, dude.
Yeah, I was just saying, I think the lower table and mid table teams actually might benefit from the World Cup. Like Forest will basically get like a half preseason to get their act together, and so will a lot of other teams, I think. Like
Yeah,
really,
I think the mid-table teams really benefit
Yeah.
from the World Cup break. A lot of the teams that don't have internationals that will fly to the World Cup will benefit from it. It really puts the top six race into quite a spin because I would be very interested to see what the top six end up doing, what versions of them come back. Liverpool, I'm not quite sure. I think Liverpool also a big chunk of that squad ends up going to the World Cup, and I think for them this current break that they've had with the Queen's passing might actually do wonders to um, um, their season because they have, let's be honest, they're having a horrible season. Trent
but
is also
yeah, maybe, but that's going to be leading to a lot of fixture congestion post World Cup because right now there's not a single window for another what do you call a game, and I'm really worried about players this season because they don't have a break at all. Like they don't have any break, and
Yeah, it's too much. Too much.
for example,
Too many.
Marshall and Rashford.
mm,
When the Euro season rolled around, they overplayed so much that their legs were out and they needed so much time to recuperate. This is going to be that kind of a season for the players.
no, for sure. I think with the likes of, let's say, it's been such a short turnaround, right, for preseason as well.
Yeah.
So and I think right now, like I believe the league also, you're not seeing a lot of free flowing football because a lot of players are playing within themselves because
They're
everybody wants to
conserving
be on that.
energy.
Yeah, no, they want to be. They're not conserving energy. They don't want to get injured, and they don't want to miss going to the World Cup. Like is something that they're everyone's keeping an eye on, right? So very very interesting, and I think Arsenal will. I just want to conclude the Arsenal chat here. Um, I think Arsenal do fall off. I think they fall off after the World Cup season, but until then, let's see. I'm enjoying their. It pains me to say this as a United fan, but it's good to see a
Yeah.
team playing such nice, free-flowing football. And credit where credit's due, guys.
Yeah, they're playing some good football. I actually enjoy watching their games right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But quickly, let's move on from this. Okay, so the next topic I wanted to talk about, and this is something I feel is going to happen at Chelsea. Now, really, we haven't been able to pick Tushar's brain about Graham Potter at Chelsea. Um, so, Graham Potter at Chelsea, my friend, do you think it's going to be a success or not? Because I'll tell you, like, I don't want to like take up most a lot of this conversation, but for me, this is like this is like Sari all over again, where you have a manager with this playing style that comes in, and then the team just get fed up with him halfway through. Like not the team, the fans get fed up with him halfway through the season, and then you start seeing people call him not a Chelsea man and this and that. So I don't know. I'm a little skeptical about the Potter signing.
Um, I mean, first of all, Tuchel losing his job was nothing to do on the pitch.
Yeah, for
It was a
sure.
boardroom
Yeah,
fight,
of
right? It
course.
was not the
Yeah.
fans calling for his head. It was not the players calling for his head. Uh, Even though there were reports later, like a smear campaign that he lost the dressing room, but most of the players were like, no, not really. He didn't lose the dressing room. Probably one of the best tacticians. Having said that, he plays the same system that Graham Potter plays. So at least in that sense, he sort of slots right in to the players that Tuchel picked. If you went and picked Poch as someone who plays a completely different style, then you have players for one system, but you're trying to play another system, and then you're screwed. But at least in this, there is good flow, there's good continuity.
Yeah.
One thing I saw in the last game in Champions League was like there was creativity and this free flowing creativity. Um, like what was happening under Tuchel was like we were not taking any risk at all. Like there was no pass going forward from what's his name J5. I keep forgetting.
J5,
Jorginho.
Jorginho, yeah, they call him
Jorginho.
Yeah, there's no pass. Jorginho, like if he couldn't find a pass, he would pass right or pass left. That square
Yeah.
pass he'll do, or he'll pass back. There was no risking, no creativity, no trying to put a ball through, player through. Nothing was happening.
But I
This
don't think
last game,
he's that type of player, is he?
it was just all risking, like, and that's what I really liked about the Potter thing. At least what Todd Bowley says is that he's going to give Potter time. Potter's come with his whole staff. He's taken everyone. Like only the players were left at Brighton, right?
No, I
Exactly.
mean, I find it
Sports,
hard to
this
believe.
guy,
Yeah,
this
except
guy,
one,
that,
right?
huh?
Except one guy, Mark Kukra.
Yeah.
My man was playing 4D chess.
I mean,
But managers normally take their whole crew with them, wherever they go.
not
I mean, not
necessarily.
the.
United don't get their whole crew. Actually, the last three times, only the managers come, not his whole crew. At United, at least, that was the biggest problem for United. That the backroom staff would be the old guys, but you would get a new
Yeah.
manager. Uh,
So, I see. The
um,
thing is, um, I don't think Potter won't be given time. I only feel, given the club that Chelsea, like you have 20 years of operating in a certain style, and you're used to winning trophies season after season. I think Chelsea are coming on 6 years of not having challenged for the league, right? 2016, 17 was the last time they won it, or under Conte. So, but they've been winning trophies, like obviously, like throughout the
yeah, but
years.
last year we made it to two finals. I thought we would come away with at least one trophy.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, and you're always challenging for trophies, one way or the other. I don't know with Potter if that's something you do this season. Maybe you do, and maybe it's great, but like all the stats point to otherwise. And I don't know if the fans will be patient enough given just the culture that exists at Chelsea.
I mean, to be honest, I was really hoping that Tuchel would be the guy that would stick for some time. I didn't actually see that firing coming. I think it was like
I
it
don't
was
I don't think
Jason
any of
that
us saw that coming.
it was this amazing. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it was basically a management butting head kind of issue.
Yeah.
Um, I'm hoping that they give Pot. I mean, dude, come on, Arteta has gone like trust the process bullshit for like 4 seasons now. and they're still giving him time. They're still backing the manager. They're backing the manager.
But that's because they did that with Wenger, right? So there's a history of doing that where you have a manager that is not succeeding, but because they believe in what do you call? They really believe in making that manager succeed and giving him all the tools to get what he wants to achieve. Whereas at Chelsea, it's like Ancelotti got fired in the tunnel at West Brom, and Carlo Ancelotti. I remember the season where he did the double, where they
Yeah.
won the FA Cup and the
Yeah.
Premier League. The man was scoring seven, like having his team score 7, 8 goals a game. There was one year, I think, was it against Villa, where Chelsea scored 7. It was an absolute smash in. And thank you, Priyanka. Thank you. We do for loving the podcast. Just FYI. But anyway, back to the point is that I don't know if Chelsea will be that patient with him. If they are patient with him, you never know. That might just be a master stroke from Todd Bowley. I think that with Salzburg, they're still negotiating for the director, and he really wants his personnel in. I think it was kind of clear that the moment they were in, they would want their guys to be there. Tuchel represents the old regime, a regime that they kind of want to upstage a little bit. It also didn't help that they butted heads over transfer strategies because there wasn't really a proper plan in place. Bowley really wanted Cristiano Ronaldo, and Tuchel, being the sensible man that he is, said, "Are you crazy? No." He would just absolutely derail everything, and so much
I mean,
could have
that's the thing,
gone.
that there's a lot of news that Bowley is saying that, okay, I'm putting a football director, and then next thing I'm going to do is put a CEO, because I think he's listening to the feedback that he's a Yank and Yank should not be running a football club. Yeah, I mean, he's looking. He was like, obviously you should buy Cristiano Ronaldo because he's like a Hall of Famer, and everyone's like, there's no Hall of Fame in football, dude. Like, it's like that.
I mean, there is a Premier League Hall of Fame. I mean, there is like
There
it's
is, yeah.
It is,
recognition.
but there's no like direct
But
NBA, NFL kind of thing, right? Hall of Fame kind of thing.
yeah,
Like, it matters a lot, right? You can't buy a 37-year-old and just disrupt your whole team for one guy. Like, it makes no sense.
I don't think. See, the thing is,
Yeah, but
sorry.
I'm saying that he's recognizing that now he shouldn't be making these decisions and he shouldn't be doing all of these things. So he's putting in place the personnel, at least. Like, I was really happy with the move, that because RB Leipzig, all the RB companies were under this sporting director basically, and he
Yeah,
did a good.
yeah, and Cosmo really puts this out. Bowley put in
Yeah,
a 4-4-3 plan while planning for transfers. I mean, I feel that is just that maybe a slip of the tongue, and it could have been like just a rumor in my opinion. I don't really pay attention to that. What I do want to address, and I know we kind of spoke about this before we went live, is his comments on the North-South All-Star game.
Oh man.
Okay, so the North-South All-Star game, right? I personally don't think it's a bad idea if it replaces the Community Shield. I think if you look at All-Star Weekend, because All-Star Weekend is this break in the middle of the season where you have a bunch of really fun games. It's like everyone's coming together. It works. It's just like it's a fun thing. Football definitely is a lot more tribal than basketball. I would 100% agree on it. But with the way the sport is going, I think football is a lot less tribal today than it was, let's say, 10, 12 years ago. Like when we were 14, 15, the rivalries of Arsenal, Chelsea, United, those teams hate each other. Like, it's so much so it derailed the English national squad. You
Pretty
have
much.
Spain
Yeah,
on the other, you have Spain on the other hand, who went where the teams of Barcelona and Real Madrid head-butted each other for 4 or 5 years, but they won everything in those 4 or 5 years. So it's kind of weird how things worked out.
Yeah.
But the Premier League has naturally been generally English football in general is more competitive. I don't think even if you were to go South America and have players from River Plate and Boca Juniors in the same team, there'd be riots. So I fully understand that perspective, but the intent and if I want to be honest, the only thing where I feel this thing dies is the 200 million that he says that will trickle down into the pyramids. into the footballing pyramid. If those figures that he quotes are to be exact, I don't think any club or rather any club is letting any of that money trickle down to the pyramid. As of now, like even Bury went out of business, 50,000 or 60,000 pounds needed. No team lifted a finger to give them anything. The league is run by greed. It's like, and look at the amount of money it's generating.
Every league is run by greed, right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But my one comment on the All Star thing was that even if you watch the NBA All Star game, it's not even like those guys are giving that their all. It's become like a very mediocre, like a
Yeah, it's
friendly.
more for
It's
it's
more
more for
like
the
a
hype
show.
of the
Yeah,
fans and
it's
the
nothing great to
yeah.
watch anymore. Like it used to be at one point, but now it's just a very boring, mediocre kind of game that's happening. So I hope they don't do it. Like even cricket, they should do some. Uh, what is that?
The World
Uh,
11 against
World 11 or some
Asia
shit.
11, and they used to
Asia.
have that back in the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
rest of the world. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
India versus
But
rest of the
but
world.
it wasn't a big deal. Like it was just like, yeah, something's happening. Like so I don't think that'll bring in that much TV revenue. Plus with the fixture congestion, dude, already players are complaining. Where will you put a
I,
fixture for these guys?
I think this replaces for me. I feel if it replaces the Community Shield, which I think is getting extremely jaded at this point.
I'm just
If
like,
it
why are
replaces,
Prem teams in the Community Shield, dude? Just do away with the top 10 of the Prem teams at least should not be playing. Otherwise, there's no point. The lower teams don't get a chance to like win.
like it's meant to be the FA Cup winner versus the Premier League winner, right? That's the whole thing. But I don't know. I feel like it's just uh, it's lost its sheen. And I wouldn't be surprised if the All Star game happens, let's say 5-6 seasons from now. We're definitely headed towards, because I don't think the Premier League is generating so much money at this point, and I heard Simon Jordan talk about this on Talksport. If they choose to build their own platform, it's over for everybody else. Like if the Premier League create their
Yeah.
own like streaming platform, it is over for like the La Ligas. I mean, if it's already over for the La Ligas and the Serie A's and so on, but they will have complete like a vice-like grip over the entire football world. And they're not doing that right now because they're getting so much money through the broadcasting rights, like Sky, Amazon, like BT are just throwing money at them and saying, you know what, here, take more. It's great for us who are in the subcontinent because we essentially pay what? How much
150
do we
rupees.
pay?
If you
Yeah,
do
no,
Hotstar 150 rupees plan, you can watch every Premier League game.
yeah,
And,
Yeah,
and you
1,500
can
rupees.
watch HBO Max, and you can watch all the Marvel stuff
So
and some crazy amount of stuff. Yeah.
I advise all my friends living in the US and generally across the world, invest in a VPN, find somebody with an Indian number or who has a Hotstar account, and just use Hotstar. So you save up on
so
so
in
many
fact
streamings.
today I was talking about the same with somebody from the US, and he asked me how much do we pay for Hotstar. I asked him, what do you think we're paying for Hotstar? He's like, oh, $250 a month. And we were like, no, we're
Two
paying
fifty
$9.
dollars a month.
That's what he thought.
Two
And I
fifty.
told
I know.
him,
Okay, more than $250 a month. What I really want to address is, how does he think people in India have the money to afford $250 a month on a streaming
So it's
service?
so then
streaming
when we
service.
told
Yeah.
when we told him it's $10 a year, he was like, what, really?
I pitched this to a grad school class when I was doing a presentation, and I pitched it to like my work friends on a call where they said, "Excuse me, what?" I said, "Yeah, roughly equates to about 12 and a half, 1250
Yeah.
a year." And he's like, "Oh, dude, I need your details." It's like,
Yeah, if I were to
Yeah.
give you the breakdown, like if you want to watch every Premier League game in the UK, it would cost you £120. Plus, it would cost you HBO Max, which costs you another £15. Plus, the
Yeah.
Disney Plus subscription would cost you another £15. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's almost you're doing it 150, 15,000 rupees a month to watch every show, which you can watch for 150 rupees in India.
It's 1,000
It
rupees
makes
a
no
year, no?
sense. Yeah.
I think
Sorry?
I think the Disney Plus bundle in the UK is quite lucrative because
Yeah.
they have Disney and Hulu. Like Hulu doesn't exist outside the US, right? So all of
No.
Hulu's content is on Disney Plus, which is why like when I was in the UK and I was trying to get set it up on a television, I was like, oh wow, if you set the ratings, you get access to so much more content. And if I'm in the UK, I'd pay for a Disney Plus subscription because there's so much that you're getting out. It's not just getting the Disney animation films. You're getting Prey, you're getting The Bear, a lot of the stuff that's on Hulu, which doesn't come to Hotstar immediately. Like Prey hasn't come to Hotstar yet, but The Bear is on Hotstar, and I would highly recommend. I know we're on a football show, but I recommend, like, if you want to watch good television, always recommending. Check out The Bear; it's really nice. But anyway, I don't think I don't think the Premier League is going to give up the current deals that it currently has, especially with India, where Disney. I don't think Disney's going to give it up. I don't think HBO is going to give it up. Warner Brothers is going to give it up because of the sheer amount of people that they've captured, right? Because Hotstar is considered the most friendliest of all the streaming services, and it has like per game has what 200,000 people, 2 lakh people watching.
I always make out that.
Yeah, those numbers are insane. So the Prem, I don't know how much longer they'll keep shelling out to broadcasters in return for huge sums of money, but it will be interesting to see. I think Tushar spoke about this the last time we had him on the pod about how the Super League already exists, and it's called the English Premier League. With the way, and that's why Perez and the rest of Europe are so scared, because you see Nottingham Forest have the ability to bring in 23 players, while Madrid have spent a third of what they have spent.
Yeah.
Nottingham Forest were outbidding Atletico Madrid, Ajax, Juventus, and AC Milan. And Nottingham Forest is a promoted team. Imagine the power of the Premier League. Yeah. But it's also, I think, their own doing, right? I think La Liga has extremely disproportionate, like Madrid and Barcelona and maybe Atletico take most of the money, TV rights money, and the rest of the teams take. The greatest thing about the APL is still today, every team gets equal TV right payments. And even if you get relegated, you get 3 years of parachute payments. And that's something the other league need to learn.
Yeah. So lucrative, right? And then I think the issue with Spain generally is like language plays a big part. I think language is a barrier. I think Spain had the viewership because of the two phenoms that they had, and
they failed to capitalize. They absolutely
did.
On them.
They really did. Also, it's not as competitive as the Premier League, no? When you have like 4 teams that are competing.
I feel because the way they split broadcasting rights, right? Like I feel Madrid and Barcelona get the biggest chunks. I think Tushar has spoken about this in a pod previously, about how they get the bigger chunk of the broadcasting rights because their fan base is global. Getafe or Rayo Vallecano doesn't have that global fan base, not at least to the degrees of your Madrids and Barças. But I think with the Premier League, it's just that because the chances are that it's so competitive, right? And there's no easy games in the Prem at this point.
No,
maybe Forest is the biggest rollover, but even Bournemouth went to Newcastle and got a point. Newcastle, by the way, 1 win in 7. They look quite. I mean, they look good, but I don't.
You just got to ask Eddie, how, dude? How?
Yeah, it's terrible, absolutely terrible. So, Cosmo says most of the football fans can't name 15 La Liga teams, but will name every team because of FPL.
Yeah, so FPL. Yeah, FPL makes you want to watch every game.
Actually,
just to see if the player you picked scored the goal or not, or got a red card.
I was a diehard United fan. I've been a diehard United fan for most of my life, but I really got invested in football when FPL became a thing for me. I remember 2013, 2012 was when I first started playing, and then you just start to pay attention to more games. And then I thought it was only just me. And then when Akshay began playing, I remember Akshay also was like, "Yeah, let's watch United game here and there." And then he's full. And then he switched.
I end up watching pretty much everything just to see if Jesus has scored or not or assisted.
The real
And
FPL
it's
addict.
not.
The thing I feel like
It's
it
just not FPL.
corrupted.
It's with any
Like
other sport. Like I played American football fantasy,
Uh-huh.
and same thing. I would watch a game just to see if my player has done well.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Tushar.
I just think that like when I started playing FPL, I started feeling a little bad because that pure watching your team joy didn't come that much because you're like, okay, my team scored, but the guy I picked didn't score, and I'm like, shit. I was like happy, sad, or something.
The most confusing time I've had was the United 6-1 loss to Spurs, because I was watching United get absolutely walloped at home. Actually, twice, as a matter of fact. This happened to me twice. Um, I was watching United Spurs and I was watching United Liverpool. United Liverpool was 5-0 to Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Both the times I had Salah and Kane as captain. So as the goals are going in, you're just like, this is wrong. This feels wrong. And just like my team is conceding goals left and right. I should be furious right now, and I was furious. But I'm just like, oh man, look at the Salah points. I feel dirty. And I think that's what FPL
Yeah.
really does. It,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
at the
but the
same
six
time, it
one.
puts in the blow, right? It's like,
mm.
okay, Chelsea lost against Man City, but hey, I got some 20 points.
Yeah, that 6-1 game against Spurs. I think I had Bruno on my team, and he scored, and I was like, yeah, he scored, so it's okay, At the end of the day,
Yeah.
yeah,
As a Bruno pen right in that game, I think, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken, like he gets
yeah, and he
a
scored,
pen.
so and I had Kane as well, so I was like, yeah, it's okay.
Mm. Swings and roundabouts. Cosmo in the
Yeah,
chat also mentions, no way I would have watched Everton versus West Ham if not for Patterson. I did not watch this game. I have very little to comment on it. I did see the goal though, Mope going near post. And West Ham look like they're in trouble, dude. They have a striker. I don't know what the excuse is now. They got Skamaka in. They've got Lucas Paqueta in. Um, Moyes is walking on thin ice. I don't know how much more time he has. I saw Nick Frost, who is a big actor. You've seen him in movies like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and a bunch of those films. He's a big West Ham fan, and he was like, I think I'm leaning towards David Moyes being out. And a lot of there's a sense of disgruntlement amongst the West Ham faithful. The team doesn't should be performing a lot better than it currently is. Jared Bowen hasn't scored or assisted, I think, since the season began. Maybe he has an assist here and there, but West Ham also
yeah,
look like they need to get their act together.
yeah, they're fighting for relegation right now.
It's so funny in the Premier League how those fortunes can change. Like when you look at Everton 2 seasons back, they had bought a bunch of players and they got Ancelotti and they were challenging for Europe. Now they have Frank Lampard and they're challenging to not be relegated. And
I think they're a lot more solid. I feel they have the second best defensive record in the Premier League. So Lampard's come in, and he's kind of like, I think now this season he's getting his players in. He's now like little by little, trying to make sure that,
which,
oh my god,
which
this
is
is
hilarious because Lampard's not a defensive guy. The biggest problem with Lampard was defense.
yeah. But I feel like once this whole idea was for him to shut it down, right, and then make sure that the team stopped leaking goals, which is the big problem with Everton. But now they seem to be playing a lot more like free flowing
Yeah,
football, defensively a lot more sound. Patterson, as this guy Cosmo mentioned, is having a storm of a season. Andre Onana was really good from what I heard as well. Alex Iwobi has completely changed under Frank Lampard. He's really taken to that creator role by storm.
true.
So it's just there's a lot going for Chelsea at this point, and I'm sorry for Everton at this
For
point,
Everton.
Chelsea.
Here's a
For
stat for our listeners. They've had as many goals scored against them as City have had scored against them,
Oh, wow.
oh damn!
and that's just 6. Yeah.
So Everton
So
are being stingy in defense, which is good. I think
yeah,
Tarkowski and
as you
and
mentioned,
Connor
that
Cody.
they have the best defensive record, and yeah,
Yeah, they
But
have Tarkowski and Cody at the back.
City is. I'm sure there's a team that's let in lesser goals than City. I think maybe Arsenal has let in lesser goals.
Brighton have let in lesser goals.
Oh damn! Brighton have the
5.
best defensive record in the Premier.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the thing is, you have a Haaland who scored more goals. If Haaland was a club, he'd be fifth. So, like, what do you do, dude? He scored 11 goals already, dude. It's only like game week 7 or 8 or something.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
scored. He scored more goals than United and Chelsea and
Chelsea and so many
I'm
teams.
I'd be
Come
interested to watch him against Martinez and Varane. Martinez
Varane.
famously pocketed him last time when Ajax played Dortmund, but I don't think Dortmund have the same attacking threats that Man City do. So, which means a lot more space for Haaland in the box. So it's going to be very, very interesting to watch that game. I watched the
Yeah.
last Manchester derby in a pub in England, and I must have screamed at the television so much. I really hope that's not a
Yeah.
repeat.
And
Come
that
what
would be a repeat. Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was a horrible, horrible game to watch. Never again. I'm not watching games in pubs anymore.
We've improved vastly from there. So yeah.
Yeah, there was this viral clip that was going around from I think the United Arsenal game outside the Smithfield, which is a United bar in New York. I have this thing with every time United play bad, I go to the Smithfield to watch them play the next fixture because come what may, every time I've gone to the Smithfield, and this is one of those weird superstitions, uh, United have always drawn that game, and I think I've seen more United Chelsea games there than any other games that they've played, and every game
Yeah.
that they've played there has been a draw. So to
Crazy.
see people celebrating wins at the Smithfield for me is a very alien concept, which is why I just sit and watch. Like I much prefer watching games at home because I just
Go
want
watch
to
the City game. At least we'll draw.
get.
Just take a flight and go. Just take a flight and go.
Yeah.
At least we'll draw the game and not lose.
Dude, if it were only that easy.
Adapt,
So much
improvise, overcome, dude. Yeah.
Okay, I feel like on that note, is there anything else that we'd like to talk about? So we can.
I think we didn't talk about the whole Madrid derby and the whole Vinicius Junior with his dancing.
Oh, we really should. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
How could we be missing our duties? Now, I don't see what the fuss really is about Vinicius' dancing celebration.
No, there's that one bloke who said, like, if he wants to dance, let him go back to Brazil and dance. And there's something he alluded to being a monkey thing, but that's the game apparently. And everyone came out and just went full support for Vinicius, saying that you should dance if you want to dance. And
Yeah, I don't
dance he did.
understand the fuss about all that. Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's disrespectful. It's like showboating. I think that those are their reasons, but I don't see the point.
Yeah.
But Cosmos says I should open a Smithfield in Bangalore. I really should. I'll speak to the to the management. Hey guys, what have you thought of India? Anyway.
But coming to the game, Madrid played damn good for not having Benzema.
Oh yeah, they were that Tchouameni pass for Rodrigo. Postage stamp.
Yeah,
That was what a pass that was, and Rodrigo Oblak has no chance, and Vinicius for the second goal breaks past our defense. Valverde comes in at the back post. It was a very, very, like, Madrid are still unbeaten since the season began, and Ancelotti is just like, yeah, the World Cup's coming. It's a bit of an off season. We'll get into a flow. Come the second half of the season, and Madrid and Barca, I think, are the only unbeaten teams in La Liga. Barca also look very good. I think Gavi and Pedri are really pulling strings in midfield for them. Gavi, if you're a football manager person, you would have had him on loan or bought him at a cut price when he was at Barcelona B. Cosmo says Koke said Vinny will be in trouble if he dances, but forgot Griezmann also dances. Yeah, the hypocrisy of it all, right?
Yeah.
Griezmann has
been doing Fortnite dancing and what was that, eating all over the place the last 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, so
Vinicius doesn't think they have such a big problem.
But if the La Liga had a FPL, Vinny's your man.
Benzema's my man. I don't know if Vinny's my man, but Karim Benzema definitely.
Vinny's right now at 5. Benzema is at 4, I think, and then everybody else in Madrid.
RM9 would be on your team too.
Our line is also he's had a bit of a stop start, but I think he'll also get into the thick of things soon enough.
And Griezmann
Um,
definitely.
Atletico look really bad. They've had their
Yeah.
worst start to a league since for some time now. Simeone, I don't think Simeone's
I
position will
think
ever be under threat.
I think they're bottom half, no?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they are not having a very good season. They're having
I know they're
them
seventh.
Bayern Munich.
Okay. Not too bad.
Yeah, but seventh and Atletico.
Dude, but
Um,
Madrid's biggest thing is that imagine they have this guy Modric coming off for Kamavinga, dude. Just having
yeah,
that kind of a bench and is just insane. Like, it's just
they have Cruz, Modric, Camavinga, Tchouameni. Oh, dude, that team is Valverde.
Valverde, yeah.
That team is exceptional. But I think that should be that for this week. We'll be back. There's no more episodes this week, I think, because unless we decide to do something off the cuff. But we'll be back for the Game Week 9 preview next week. Should be a full house then. Hazard, Cosmo mentioned Hazard is also in Madrid. I completely forgot he was there.
Oh, yeah.
He actually did a decent job the La Liga game. He gave some nice touches, gave some nice passes, little bit here and
It
there.
was good to see.
Yeah,
But the Eden Hazard we know and love is gone, right?
Yeah, that's what the Madrid fans were like. Sometimes, somewhere, all these small teams, all these Real Betis and all this Rayo Vallecano and all, Hazard can do full chamak, but otherwise, not really.
Okay, boys. I think that's that.
That should be it.
Thank you, everyone who's joined in, who's listening. We really appreciate you for listening in on us.
Being here for
The
us.
podcast will be on Spotify either tonight or tomorrow morning latest. So you'll be able to listen to it there if you prefer a more oral experience. That sounds wrong, but yes.
Oh my God.
Why did we use the next voice again?
I'm always using my sex voice. Because that's the only place I get to hear. Is the only place I get. Never mind. I'm not going to get into this.
Mark this podcast explicit now. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfectly normal conversation to have. Anyway, somebody ended up leaving. That's us on this week's episode. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, take care.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.